Catholic. Let's put it that way.
Marshall, what do you think about the trade agreement with England today?
I would be a little wary of calling it the first of the tariff agreements to work. If you go back and you look at PMQs from Great Britain, I'm real lucky to have a couple of British friends on the app who hold political rooms about their own politics. And one of the issues is their Chancellor of the Exchequer, essentially their version of the Fed, not the Fed, their version of the Treasury, had been looking for a way under this new Prime Minister government, under this new government with Keir Starmer, had been looking for a way to get a trade deal with America because they were supposed to get one post Brexit and never got one. So I'm not so sure how much of the trade deal you can accurately say is due to tariffs working, as much as Great Britain and particularly their Chancellor of the Exchequer has been looking for a trade deal with the United States for the last couple of years. But all in all, I mean, it's a good thing to have a trade deal. So.
Do you think that the reason why there's an American Pope is because Trump was going to axe their nonprofit status in the same way that he, has threatened other institutions, that this was a strategic move on behalf of the Catholic Church?
That's an interesting idea. It's a fresh idea. It is a fresh idea. I just, however, I don't really think so. That wouldn't hold up in court. Comedian. It would be met with a religious challenge, and the court would come down rightly on the side of First Amendment, establishment, and expression clauses.
Well, it's an election. What I'm saying is the people who voted may have had it in their subconscious to do this.
Or maybe the fact that the Catholic Church is losing people by the thousands every year. That in America, people are turning away from the church. But wait, Marshall, before you continue, let me say hello to J-Lo89. What's up, J-Lo89?
Hello. So I hear there's a new pope, but I haven't heard much about him except that he's from Chicago.
Yep, he's American. He's meant to be Cardinal of Chiclayo in Peru. Okay.
Hey, this is John.
Oh, wow.
Good afternoon. This is Brett with USA's Property Claims Department. I was giving you a call in regards to the claim that you had submitted for
Yeah.
water damage to your property.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing this afternoon?
Pretty good.
On everything. I was just touching base. I'll be the assigned adjuster for your claim.
Okay.
I was just reaching out to see if you had about 15 to 20 minutes right now to go through some information with me.
Yeah, sure.
Get started on the claim for it, sir.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So, what I wanted to start off with is any water that's involved. We have to grab what's called a recorded statement. All the recorded statement is, it's just a recap of basically how we discovered the damage and just expanding on that with what we know so far. So, if it's okay, we'll get that statement out of the way so you can kind of bring me up to speed on where we're at and what we know. And then once we're done with that, I'll kind of go into the policy, let you know coverage-wise what I'm seeing, and then of course we can kind of talk next steps as far as what the claim will entail after that, if that sounds okay with you, sir.
Yep, sure, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Let me get that pulled up and we'll get that statement started here. Let's see. So how it'll work is I'll introduce the two of us, sir, here at the beginning of the statement, and then I'll let you know what we're looking for and when you can start. Like I said, all it is kind of going over how you discovered the damage and then just expanding on that with what we know. Before I hit record, were there any questions that you had for me, sir, before we got started?
No.
No? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and hit record now.
Okay, the recording has started.
Okay, perfect. So we are recording now. This is Brett Larson. Today is May the 8th, 2025. I'm speaking with Mr. John Kitover about the water claim that occurred on May the 1st, 2025. Do you understand this conversation is being recorded?
Yes.
Do we have your permission to record this conversation?
Yep. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. If you wouldn't mind starting off with how you discovered the damage, and then just expanding on that with what we know so far, it would be greatly appreciated. And if I have any follow-up questions, I'll just say them for the end, whenever you're done giving your statement, sir.
Yeah, my friend Max came over to my house, and I wanted to show him the paintings that I did. I was painting the walls in the property, and giving the interior a fresh coat of paint. And when I went into the unit, I heard water in the service closet. So I ran into the back, saw water spraying out of a valve slash pipe. Um, and then I I turned it to the right, it turned off, the water stopped coming out, and then I immediately grabbed a bucket and a squeegee and started panicking and trying to get water out of the front door or the back door of the building. Um, yeah, that's what happened.
Gotcha. Okay. What area was this where we heard the water at, or where we discovered the water?
It's in the service closet where the hot water tank is and the furnace.
Gotcha.
It was the pipe directly leading into the water source.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
have you gotten a, sorry, what were you going to say?
I had noticed a drop in water pressure, maybe like 30 days, 40 days prior. And I'm pretty sure that drop in water pressure was when the pipe cracked. So there was like continuous water spraying out for in a very long extended period of time. And as a result, like the walls, there's just like a tremendous amount of, water damage.
Yeah, I noticed that. I looked at, when I reached out the other day, I looked at those photos that you sent over, and thanks for sending those over. Because it's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to look and see it, right? As far as figuring out kind of the extensivity of the damage. And it definitely looked like there was quite a bit of moisture in there that had leaked.
Yeah.
As far as the moisture, did we notice it anywhere else other than that utility room that we had, or is that pretty much the only area that we've noticed the water at this time?
Yeah, it permeated through to the bathroom, so it kind of caved in the flooring in the bathroom, and the water also permeated. I think all the water like went underneath the building, and so it went underneath the flooring substantially in the bedroom. And then I think the water even like cracked the walls, and in like the where the ceiling and the wall connects. But everything is like discolored. Like the moisture drew like a brown sap out of the walls, so like everything in the in the unit is like covered in like stains. And yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I'm looking at a photo right now where I can see that stain that you were mentioning there. As far as the source of the leak, were we able to figure out kind of what that pipe led to, or what that pipe was, the pipe that was leaking?
The guy who has like done some of the who basically has helped me. There was three major leaks, and it was like a T-bone pipe, um, connected to the main water pipe. But yeah, the piping was pretty old, so it just with the winter, I think it just damaged the piping. I'm not exactly sure what caused it to break like this.
Is the plumbing repair still pending, or did you go ahead and get that completed already?
No,
Repair?
it's still pending. I just managed to got the water turned off. Or the leaks.
Shut the water off, and that's good you did that.
Yeah.
Water off. Yeah, I know it's an inconvenience when you got to shut that water supply out, but really the only thing you can do sometimes, you kind of stop it from getting worse. So no, I was just trying to get an idea if we kind of had an idea of kind of what caused the issue, because I had notated on here that it was freeze-related damage.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to see if that was something we had been able to confirm if it was freeze-related, or
Yeah, I
if we
think.
just weren't sure at this time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the freeze in the wintertime. I mean, that caused this eruption. I mean, and mixed with old piping. So I just think that's
Okay.
definitely was the winter cold that probably caused the break.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's no earthquakes.
What's that?
I said it wasn't an earthquake.
No, yeah, no, and that's totally fine if we're unsure right now, exactly what's going on. Like I said, I'm just trying to gauge where we're at and just kind of get some information so that way I can figure out kind of what we need to do, right, to get this figured out for you as quick as possible on everything. I'm almost done here question-wise with stuff. I was gonna ask, do you reside at the property, sir? The
Yeah.
property where the damage is occurred at?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. And last question I had here, and then we can hop off of this recording, was do you recall kind of when the last time you had gone over to that storage area was? I'm just trying to put a timeline together as far as how long this water may have been leaking for.
Yeah, I think from the time that I noticed the drop in water pressure, which I assume is when the pipe cracked, from the time that I noticed the water pressure to the time that I went into the unit, I think it was anywhere from 30 to 40 days.
Gotcha,
So,
30 to 40 days. Okay.
yeah, so I guess that puts it like maybe the crack started April 1st, and then that leak, on April 1st to, I don't know, what is it, the date? I mean, maybe May 1st, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that kind of gives me a ballpark on it. I appreciate that. I know it's kind of tough on this type of stuff to know exactly when it happened, but just was trying to get an idea since you resided at the property, kind of when the last time this may have happened was,
Yeah,
or last time you may have been in there, to confirm that it wasn't leaking.
Yeah, it's a coach house and it's empty. I live in the main house on the property, and so I was working on the place throughout the winter and doing painting the walls and getting the place cleaned up and refreshed. But yeah, then that's when I discovered it.
Gotcha. I'm pulling up a Google Earth image.
Yeah, I feel so.
Gotcha.
I feel
Okay.
yeah. I
So
feel.
where this happened at, this is an area that you run out typically.
Um,
I'm understanding.
Typically, yeah, but now I'm not actually renting it. I'm just using it as like an extra like place to work, and it's vacant.
Gotcha. Okay. And last question, real quick. Do we know when the last time we had renters in there was? On some of the property?
I think it was like last June of 2024.
Last June.
Yeah, but they didn't cause any damage or anything. It was it would there was it was fine. I feel bad because it's like it was so nice. Everything was so perfect. Having to break open the drywall and everything. It's like I feel it's just terrible seeing all the damage that the water caused.
No, and I'm sorry that this happened with it because I recognize that it was tough to kind of know it was going on, right? That's not, it was not vacant, if you will. I know you've been using it as a workspace, but maybe just not going in there as frequently, right? With stuff to kind of see that it was going on. Let me, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now, sir. Thanks for your patience with me on that. And I'm sorry we had to start off with that, sir, on everything. Like I said, it's just trying to minimize how much you've got to go over this, with us on everything. So appreciate your patience with me on that. I wanted to just confirm a couple of items with you real quick on what I had notated here. And then after we're done with that, I'm going to pull up the policy to kind of go through coverage-wise with you, what I'm seeing here, sir. And then, of course, we can kind of talk next steps on the claim at that point.
Sounds good.
That's okay. On the mortgage for the property, I'm showing Carrington Mortgage. Is that still the appropriate mortgage on the company?
Yep.
Or on the property?
Yep.
Okay. And then property address, I'm showing 5562 West Edmond Street, Chicago, Illinois, zip code 60630. Is that still accurate?
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Just pulling up a copy of your policy real quick. Bear with me just one moment here. Okay. So what this is considered under your policy is it's considered water damage from a plumbing system, right? With where the water escaped from. Sounds like it was a supply line that we had that had failed based on kind of what we discussed just a moment ago. Your policy does cover water damage from a plumbing system. However, it'll exclude the damage if the damage has been ongoing for 14 days or longer. Sometimes we have coverage if the damage is hidden, right? If I can support that it was hidden, and you had no idea it was going on, like behind walls, beneath floors, above ceilings. So even if it has been leaking 14 days, that is a potential avenue, right, where we could still have coverage for the loss. So that's going to be the question I need to take a look at, is I need to figure out how long this damage was leaking for and kind of look into it a little bit closer, as far as kind of the characteristics of the damage. So I will need to kind of inspect everything a little bit further, and then I'll be able to get back to you, sir, on kind of a firm answer as far as where we're at on the coverage for the water damage. But just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what the policy does and doesn't cover, as it pertains to the water.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be, figuring out how long it was leaking for and then seeing if it was potentially hidden. Those are going to be the two items that I need to look at a little bit closer on my end. And then what I would recommend to do is I would recommend to get a plumber in there whenever you can, because I know it's an inconvenience with having that water shut off, but also too, so that way we can get the source of the leak stopped and repaired, and then we can also figure out what caused it to fail. If we have coverage for the water damage and it's freeze related, freeze is covered under your insurance policy, so we would be able to cover that repair replacement of the pipe in the event we have coverage for the water. If it's something non-weather related, possibly a wear and tear issue, that's an example of something that isn't covered under your insurance policy as far as the plumbing is concerned. So just wanted to kind of go over that with you on the plumbing and kind of give you an idea of the coverage on that portion of the claim as well.
Is there like a way to see? I mean, I actually have the pipes, the parts that he has already removed, and where it shows the damage and the crack the major crack.
Yeah, so the cool thing about freeze damage, not that there are many cool things, right? But what makes it easy to figure out if it's freeze related or not is there's an actual split in the pipe when it ruptures. And that's something that's very distinct with freeze related damage. So if you've got the pipes in hand, if you could send me a photo showing me that there's a split in the pipe, that would be an example of something that I could use to support kind of what the cause was on this. Other than that, I would probably have to rely on kind of a plumber's assessment or diagnostic in order for me to confirm whether or not it was freeze related. So when you're looking at the pipes, does it look like there was a split in the pipes?
Yeah. Not a T-bone, but it's like a 4. Yeah. Anyways, I got the pipe sitting on a tarp.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's do this if it's all right with you. you could send me a couple photos of the pipe, that would be terrific. On that, if that wouldn't be too much trouble.
Yep.
To send that over. So I'll send you. You can send it through the app or website, or I can send you a quick email. How you sent it the last time, how you had sent me those photos would work perfect.
Okay.
You can upload them through that messaging center. Yeah, so I appreciate that, and if I can see that split in the pipe, that'll let me know, that this was freeze related, basically on it. Last thing I just wanted to confirm real quick on your deductible is your deductible. Taking a look at the deductible on the policy, the deductible is 2% of what you have the home insured for. The home is insured for $1,084,000. So what that comes out to on the deductible amount is $21,680 on the deductible. So I just wanted to confirm that amount with you, just so that way you were aware that that would be your out-of-pocket costs for the client. So just wanted to go over that real quick on the deductible amount and where that leaves us at. Before I move on, did you have any questions concerning the coverage, sir, that I went over a moment ago?
No.
No? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. What I would like to do, kind of quickest way to kind of get back to you on coverage, because I need to take a look at everything a little bit closer, and I would love to set up a virtual inspection with you if that's not too much trouble.
Yeah, sure.
Basically what the virtual inspection would entail is it's just like a FaceTime on the phone. I would just send you a text message. You would download an app, and then that would allow us to kind of teleconference, almost like a FaceTime, so that way we can record video and take photos. And once we're done with the inspection, that app isn't anything that you need to keep on your phone by any means, right, if you want to get rid of it. But want to go that virtual inspection route, because that's going to be a lot quicker than me sending someone out there. So that way we can kind of get a preliminary look at this to kind of figure out what we've got on our hands here, damage-wise with everything. So if it's not too much trouble, we can get that set up. I won't have availability, unfortunately, today to do it, but I do have availability later tomorrow afternoon in case you're available. And then I also do have availability, early next week, depending on what's most convenient for you.
Yeah, tomorrow's fine.
Tomorrow's fine. Is there a certain time in the day that works better than others?
Tomorrow in the morning would probably be best.
Tomorrow in the morning? Okay. Gotcha. So the only time that I'm really kind of tough to get a hold of is 9 to 11, because I've got to help out on a status line in the mornings. So I can do right after 11 tomorrow, if that works with your schedule.
Yeah.
That works.
Yep, that works.
Okay, perfect. Let's do this, because sometimes I can run over, like if I get a call, kind of last second on everything. 11:15, if that sounds okay with you, and then that way, I'm just big on time. I try not to be late with stuff if I can help it. So, and the inspection won't take us too long. It usually doesn't take longer than 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what we've got to look at. And it sounds like it's just the 2 rooms, that we need to look at. So, promise I won't take up too much of your time tomorrow, and then I should be able to kind of get back to you and answer pretty quickly after I take a look at everything. So,
yeah, the only other thing is that okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean the living room and the kitchen just have a ton of staining, basically.
So living room and kitchen also have staining?
Yeah, it's a coach house, so it's pretty tiny, and because the water was running for so long, I mean the water buildup was the moisture in the property was substantial.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and that's fine if the living room and kitchen also sustained damage. With the virtual, really the purpose of it is just to kind of look at the extent of the damage, and then I'll kind of get an idea. I'll have you take a couple of overviews, kind of show me the overview of the areas, that we had, and then that'll kind of give me a good idea of kind of what we've got on our hands here, so I can kind of know what direction we need to take every day.
Okay.
After I look at it a little bit closer. So what I will do is on that inspection, I'll send you that link right at 11:15, because if I send it right now, it's going to expire.
Okay.
It's time sensitive.
Okay, cool.
On it. So, and then I also like to be on the phone with you. That way, in case you have any questions while you're getting everything set up, I'm on the phone to kind of help out, with kind of navigating that. So I'll give you a call tomorrow at 11:15 sharp, sir. And then if you wouldn't mind just replying back with that, with those photos. It's okay if you can't. What I was going to mention too is if you've got the pipes in hand, I can actually grab photos of them tomorrow while we're doing that inspection, just to save you a little bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that way you can show me those splits, and then that way, just minimize, because I feel bad with how much information we ask sometimes on everything, because I know that stuff takes time to kind of forward all of that over to us. So I'll just grab that while we're doing the virtual inspection tomorrow, and then we'll just go from there, if that sounds all right with you, sir.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time this afternoon, sir. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Bye.
Yes, sir. Bye.
So I don't know if you heard, but the deductible's like 21,000, and the total repairs for me is only going to be like, I don't know, fuck. If I actually fix, see, that's the thing is I need to get an estimate for like all the repairs. So if it comes out to be like 60,000, you know, and then I paid the 21,000 and they reimbursed the 39,000, that's like the type of shit that I'd still have to deal with, you know? So this is like a total waste of time is what I'm saying. Fuck this building. Fuck it, right? Just fuck it. I feel so bad because it was like, it was in good condition and I fucked up, you know? But this is what happens when you don't think. I needed to fucking drain the water from all the pipes and I just didn't. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, or I have no, I cannot believe, see, that's the thing is the winter went by so quickly. Yeah, I just fucked up. Stupid me. Gotta let it go, right? Gotta let it go.
Somebody to take care of them, so they all.
Yes, and she had family here. She had brothers, she had sisters who were legal. The kids could have went to the aunt and uncles, but she chose to take those kids. But the left is so out of whack right now, they don't talk about that part. They just talk about the mother and the kids getting deported.
Well, as soon as it's somebody to care for, I think the whole equation changes. I know that's not very broad-minded of me, but, you know, I'm susceptible to human emotion. So I, you know, on the one hand, the fact that we have anywhere between 10 and 20 million, and we don't know how many people living in this country, we don't know who they are or where they are, and they came in illegally, that's unacceptable. That tide must be reversed. It's not sustainable. On the other hand, it seems we're casting a very wide net, and you know, we're going to be sending away some people maybe that not everybody agrees should be sent away. You know, there's like for every person that we talk, like I'm okay with Killmonger or whatever that guy's name is, right? You know that guy named Killmonger or whatever. Being sent to El Salvador, he seems like a bad guy. It's interesting, we can't even agree whether he's a gangster or not, you know. But you know, then the innocent mom though that got sent away last week, did she really have to be sent away, or the person who made the wrong left turn or whatever? You know, that's creating an atmosphere of paranoia there, right?
100%. Let me tell you something. I had a cleaning lady. Doug, give me a second. I had a cleaning lady in my house maybe a month ago. Nice young lady, very articulate, spoke really well, spoke English very well. She had an ankle bracelet on, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? And she saw I was uncomfortable with it, right? So she said, look, I'm not a criminal, but ICE makes me wear this monitoring device. I'm like, holy shit, that's like next level crazy, man.
They're not playing.
They are not playing. But let's say hello to Beth and Dragons because they haven't got to speak yet, then I'll circle back to Doug. What's up, Beth? By the way, Norm, you look fantastic in that PTR.
Well, that, you know, man, I'm proud of it, and I've had a beautiful time. So thank you for the compliment.
My pleasure. Bethy, what's up, Bethy?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
What do you think? Send them all back, or let them stay?
You know, it is, if you're going to come here and you're willing to work and work towards becoming a citizen of the United States, fine. Okay. I have a ton of friends that come here and they work very hard. They probably know more about America than we will ever know. And if you ask one of them, they're going to be like, send them all back. Get them out of here. But to be honest, everybody tries to say that Florida is getting overwhelmed. with illegals, and we really aren't. I mean, the folks that are coming here are working towards getting, you know, being a dual citizen from their country to America, whatever. And they're paying taxes. They're doing what they need to do, most of them. But no, I just don't want to keep having to pay for them. The ones that do not want to do what needs to be done to come to America.
I agree. Thank you, Bapty. Yo, Dragons, you there, Dragons? Dragons. Oh, Dragons. All right, he's not there. Doug, what's good, man? You want to chime in?
Yeah, I had a thought, right, with America's this deporting thing, or this, sending them to El Salvador prison. I see America in the future outsourcing its Justice Department. As far as incarcerating people who need to be incarcerated, I think they could build a prison in El Salvador that will house all of America's prisoners at half the cost, if not less than. So I had this thought that America, man, it's
Sucking millions of people.
going in that direction. And being that the demographic of Latino people are growing in this country, and they will possibly be the majority of criminals that will be, going to jail, that it would probably make more sense to house them in the country in which, the language in which they speak.
Chris, I was just joking earlier when I said I wish I never met you. I wish I never heard. I wish you never told me about Longmont Potion Castle.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's too far-fetched to see that in the future.
Anything's possible with Donald J. Trump. I agree with that. Dragons, are you there, Dre? There you are. Yo, listen. Yo, Ding-a-ling, I sent you a message a couple days ago. Don't you check your messages? What kind of attorney are you? Maybe I was in legal trouble. I needed some help.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up. I mean, I got my office stuff to keep up on, so I'm sorry.
Trust me, if I was your client, you'd be working steadily. But check your messages, please. The mic is yours.
You got my phone number now. Anytime, you just call it to my cell phone. Okay? You need me? Call my phone. I don't know what I mean. Number one, I mean an American Pope. That's pretty amazing, really. And this guy grew up I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in Chicago, and then for the end of high school, we moved to Dalton, Riverdale, that whole area there, and that's where the guy's from. Like, amazing. I mean, he's like from, my hometown almost, So.
Are you Catholic?
I was born and raised. I don't practice anymore.
So is it a good day for Catholics Day that this guy got the popeship?
I mean, it's certainly a big day for American Catholics. I think they're very happy. I would think, I kind of split with the church over the pedophilia stuff. That was just too much for me.
Wait, hold on, George. You mean that a priest can molest a little boy and he doesn't get fired, he just gets moved? That type of thing?
Yeah, that type of thing. I wasn't down with that. And I think they've gotten better, but I think there's still, some of the original cases happened out here in Portland. I knew one of the guys was my neighbor who took that case on, and that dude was living on his credit cards. Mickey Morey is his name. And I mean, they were just trying to grind those guys to dust. Now he's like a gazillionaire living in Maui or something. I mean, good on him. But I mean, I just couldn't. And again, I want to give them credit. I think they've come a long way, but I think there's still problems in that church. But there are in others. Mormon Church.
Every church has problems, but I'll say this: you don't have to even mute up, Dragons. One of the issues I have, besides the pedophilia that's prevalent in that church, and it is prevalent, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, is the fact that they're one of the richest organizations on the planet, and they're supposed to be helping the poor, They have more real estate than in America than almost anybody. You have to let people sleep on the streets. I just the hypocrisy in that church is what doesn't make sense to me.
A lot of hypocrisy in that church is yeah, and I mean the pedophilia it's a huge form of hypocrisy. But on the immigration thing, I think, and what Normie was saying is interesting because, I'm no Trump guy, you know that, but I think I give him credit where credit's due, and I certainly was a hawk on closing the border off. I mean, it was crazy. There were just too many goddamn people coming across the border who are these? I don't believe in that, And,
well, let me ask you a question. Is the Democratic Party on life support?
No, I don't think so. I think, if people want to hear something interesting from the Democratic Party, there's a woman, I helped her get elected. She's across the river in Vancouver, Washington. Her name's Marie Guzman Perez. And she outperformed Trump, and her district went for Trump, okay, by a pretty big margin. And there's an interview with her, with this guy, Ezra Klein from the New York Times. Very interesting interview because she went to the top college out here, Reed College, which is a hoity-toity libertard institution, as you guys would call it. But she and her husband started an auto repair shop here in Portland. And so she's a mechanic. And her whole thing, one of her many things, is
Congress is currently debating spending cuts alongside spending extending the tax cuts.
And, the whole emphasis on if you don't go to college, you're worthless. She's I would say a very new form of Democrat. And it's just fascinating, in terms of what she's saying. I mean, another quick one is Ezra Klein's talking about, how great the tax credits were for cars and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, isn't that a good idea that we've got these new electric vehicles here? And the Congresswoman, and she goes, well, I don't know about you, but I have never bought a new car.
Well, I tell you, somebody the Democrats just get behind, but they won't, is Jasmine Crockett down in Texas. I think she's actually pretty good. But let me say a little Holly real quick. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll circle back to you. Holly Dolly, what's up?
Hey. What's up, guys? I was just gonna say with the immigration thing,
Did you hear what he said? Jasmine Crockett is good. He's fucking deranged.
He's
a fucking fucked up. I think he's like intentionally tries to be, he intentionally tries to gaslight as much as possible, right? I think he's like fake though, meaning that he doesn't actually mean what he says.
The rate at which they were coming through, both legal and illegal, I suppose, if you put it all together, it's just not sustainable. So I'm all for due process, and I don't want our administration to not follow the law, but I also think that overall we gotta fix this issue. And then at the same time, I'd love to see them. I would love to see them put together.
Hey, what's going on?
You're in the Masons, Holly.
Listening to this healthy debates thing, I'm about to get some shit done. What are you doing?
I was just driving back from work. I was doing some content production today, capturing some people in models and bottling them up.
You bottled them, huh?
Sure
Well, don't label that shit Longmont Potion Castle, otherwise you will regret it.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't know he was so anal.
Fuck.
So skeptical.
What a fucker. What a fucker.
Yeah, because I was checking my subscriptions. I had 9 subscribers. I think all of them are you. And the subscriber disappeared. I was like, oh shoot, someone unsubscribed. So it must have been. It must have been that one channel that got deleted.
That's funny.
Mhm.
She